The list goes on and on about the consequences of President Obama and his senior cabinet members politicizing intelligence once again, and I say these words very clearly, to enact what was essentially a years-long coup, subverting the will of the American people.
But bro, you can't mess with the American people and interfere in an election to try to thwart our constitutional rights, to try to thwart our freedoms in a constitutional republic. You just can't do it. It ain't my fault. Obama shouldn't have done what he did. They shouldn't have pushed the fake Russia collusion. All right, let's get to some news that have come out over the weekend. I always want to talk about news over the weekend, but like at some point I gotta have a day off. Obama ain't going to jail. Did I just bust your bubble? Did I just make you mad? Obama ain't going to jail. I wouldn't even cover this story, but I know some people are interested in seeing what's what, but it's pointless covering the story if you think it's gonna be some type of consequences for his actions. He's not going to jail. Hillary ain't going to jail. Clapper ain't going to jail. Brennan ain't going to jail. None of these people going to jail. I hate to bust your bubble. This is political theater, like it has always been. Now, I would love to be wrong. If I'm wrong, I'll give $100 to somebody. I would love to be wrong. It would make me happy to be wrong. I would celebrate being wrong. But they are not going to send this man to jail. It's only political theater. They talk, investigation. And before you know it, Obama sitting at the house drinking lattes, chilling on the couch, ain't worried about Nathan. All right? But because I want to do my due diligence and show you guys what's going on, we're going to talk about it. Give me the big screen real quick. I just want to run through a couple things. Tulsi Gabbard released over 100 pages of declassified intel suggesting that Barack Obama's administration weaponized intelligence to frame Donald Trump and Russia collusion. So apparently what happened was he was briefed when Trump won the election. He was briefed, before transition, he was briefed that there's no there. And allegedly he said, well, that's not good enough for me. We can't have him be no there. Because we are going to make the claim to do this and we want this to be a reality. And then allegedly he instructed people to say, well, you need to make the evidence there. You need to find ways to make him guilty about Russian collusion. And allegedly that's what happens. I don't know if that's true, but I know that's what they're saying is true. Gabby called for an investigation, a criminal investigation, and possible prosecution of Obama-era officials. Trump responded. Obviously, Trump is going to respond, and he talking mad crazy. And I'm going to show you his clip here in a minute. And then we're going to go through and say, here are the people who could be implicated. They say Barack Obama, but you know he's not doing anything. James Clapper, John Brennan, James Comey, and Susan Rice. The same people that should have been arrested for Hillary Clinton's debacle. But because I'm honest and I'm not salacious and I don't want you guys to have a false sense of hope, nothing is going to happen here, but at least we know what they did. At least what we believed is verified. The conspiracy theorists have been correct once again. You know what I find to be interesting and crazy is how the media is covering this, right? Do you remember when Donald Trump legitimately got arrested? I mean, I would say it was legitimate, but you understand he really got arrested. They had 30-some felony charges on him. They put him in, they got a mug shot of him, and the media didn't say nothing, nobody cared. Donald Trump does an AI video of Obama getting arrested through AI. And they losing their socks on this. Look at the first article. Real Clear Politics says Trump shares unhinged AI video of Obama's arrest. The center is talking about it. The right is talking about it. Everybody's making this a deal when in reality it's an AI video. But the funny thing is from the left, man, when the left is crying about this and saying, they shouldn't do this, they shouldn't do that. This is just only in effigy or through AI. It's a fantasy. It's not real. But they really did Trump like this, and they had nothing to say about it. And Trump didn't even commit no crimes, we know. But they didn't say nothing. That's why I love Ground Out News, because you can see very clearly what these nut jobs are saying on either side of the spectrum. But I don't want you guys to forget this, because I always talk about this. Every time I bring up Ground Out News, I want to tell you about the blind spots. Don't get blind spotted about things that you are not normally seeing if you only follow right-wing or left-wing material. And this is one of the things it's low coverage from the right. The left is covering it more than the right. It says Trump, White House removes Wall Street Journal from Scotland trip press pool over Epstein reports. Is what they're saying. A lot of times when they say this, they ain't real anyway. But anyway, conservatives aren't even in that spectrum talking about that whatsoever. And here's the left. The House GOP campaign arm outraises Democrats in second quarter. They don't want to talk about that. The left thinks that they're raising money equally to Republicans, and they're going to be a rude awakening because they're not covering it. I don't want you to be like them. So make sure you catch your blind spots. So make sure you guys subscribe through my link at ground.news/Tatum or download the mobile app and use offer code Tatum for 40% off the unlimited Vantage plan to see through media bias and stay informed. But let me play this clip from let's see, Fox News clip. I want to play Tulsi Gabbard's declassification clip first, and then we're going to go to Dinesh D'Souza, and then we're going to finish with the ultimate Donald Trump troll clip. Roll the clip.
And the DOJ just received that referral from DNI Gabbard.
Yeah, so Tulsi Gabbard said that she was going to turn over the documents this morning. She did the official turnover, and so now it goes to the DOJ. We'll see what they find out. Let them do the investigation. Let them look into it. Look at the accusations. I mean, look, this is something that happened nearly a decade ago. So certainly I think it would be maybe good for the American people to get more clarity and more information. Does it need to go beyond that? Hard to say, especially on the legal side. But the other thing I thought about with all of this is, you know, if you're the president of the United States today, you're in your second term. You won. Despite what maybe Obama or Hillary Clinton or anybody else that was associated with this hoax, whatever they were responsible for or did, you won again, term 2. And we're now at the 6-month mark for Donald Trump. And look how great the stock market is doing. The border is closed. So maybe look at that instead.
Disagree. I don't disagree. But what I do disagree with is that, no, run it up, bruh. Winning is not enough at this point. We have to expose these people, because I think it's more so of people that was bashing us and saying, you hate Obama, you are racist. You just always Obama, you just think Obama is the problem. He always the problem. All them people that were saying that to you, now you go, Exhibit A. I was telling the truth. Alex Jones was telling the truth. All of the people that you think are right-wing extremists were telling the truth. Now, you got to eat crow. I just want you to eat crow. I really want somebody to go to jail, but people may not go to jail, but you're going to eat crow. Come on, get the spoon ready. Put some hot sauce on it. I don't care what you do. You finna eat some crow.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sean. This is such an important issue, and I just want to start by saying that this is an issue that is important to every single one of us as Americans. This is not a partisan issue. It has to do with the integrity and the strength of our democratic republic. And it lays out this over 100 documents that you're referencing that I released, declassified and released, spells out in great detail exactly what happens when you have some of the most powerful people in our country directly leading at the helm, President Obama and his senior-most national security cabinet, James Comey, John Brennan, James Clapper, and Susan Rice and others, essentially making a very intentional decision to create this manufactured, politicized piece of intelligence with the objective of subverting the will of the American people, who in November of 2016 delivered a historic victory to President Trump, defeating Hillary Clinton. And President Obama and his team, their goal was to essentially not accept the decision of the American people, and to use this manufactured, politicized intelligence as a means to enact what would become essentially a years-long coup against President Trump. You have gone into great detail over these years of what the effects of this document and this decision have resulted in. Obviously, a years-long Mueller investigation that cost taxpayers almost $40 million, 2 congressional impeachments, endless smears and attacks against not only President Trump, but his family. He had senior members of his team who were investigated, some arrested and jailed. We had heightened and increased tensions between the United States and Russia. The list goes on and on about the consequences of President Obama and his senior cabinet members politicizing intelligence once again, and I say these words very clearly, to enact what was essentially a years-long coup, subverting the will of the American people in that election in November. Now, you referenced this President's Daily Brief document.
And that's what I want to see. Let's go to the Dinesh D'Souza clip. It's a photo. Dinesh D'Souza. I'm hearing that we can't put Obama in handcuffs because that might cause civil unrest. But wait, Democrats didn't hesitate to drop 90 plus charges on Trump. They were ready to lock him up for life and deal with the ensuing civil unrest. Besides, no one is above the law, right? And he wrote that quote because Barack Obama said no president is above the law, and all the Democrats said it. Let me give you Exhibit B. Put it up on the screen. Roll it.
No one, especially the president, is above the law.
No one is above the law.
No one is above the law.
No one is above the law.
Nobody is above the law.
No one is above the law.
Nobody is above the law.
No one 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 is above the law.
Oh, son of a bitch.
All right. Sorry for the cussing. Hold on a second. Sorry for the cussing. However, this is the meme or the AI that's going around the world, and people are mad at Donald Trump over this. I don't give a flying flip. Let me tell you why I like this, because this is the only thing that we're going to see in resemblance of justification, because the DOJ ain't finna do nothing, right? Obama ain't finna go to jail. This is the closest we're going to see to retribution or justice for the American people as to the criminal behavior from Barack Obama, allegedly, according to the documents. So watch it, and it's the only thing you're going to see as close as Obama going to jail. Roll it. AI is insane.
Young man, there's no need to feel down. I said, young man, pick yourself off the ground. I said, young man, cause you're in a new town. There's no need to be unhappy. Young man, there's a place you can go. I said, young man, when you're short on your dough, you can stay there. And I'm sure you will find many ways to have a good time.
All right, keep it there. I want people to see his face. Let me address this real quick. I know I can feel the pressure of people saying, Obama, you just racist. I don't want to see the man behind the bars. I don't really want to see Obama behind bars. I don't. But bro, you can't mess with the American people and interfere in an election to try to thwart our constitutional rights, to try to thwart our freedoms in a constitutional republic. You just can't do it. It ain't my fault. Obama shouldn't have done what he did. They shouldn't have pushed the fake Russia collusion. They shouldn't have been texting on their BlackBerries on an unsecured server in Hillary Clinton's house. You guys shouldn't have done that. I would never do that. Republicans should never do that. If I find out that Donald Trump did some shady stuff like Obama did, then Trump need to be where he at too. Nobody's above the law. I love Trump, but you do something shady like this and they take you to jail, that ain't got nothing to do with B. Tatum. That's on you, bruh. You knew it was shady when you did it. And so Barack Obama, if he go to jail, it's going to be sad for people that love him. I don't want to see him in jail. But bro, you reap what you sow. And if you had the audacity to try to fake a story against Donald Trump, which is in fact interfering in the election, thwarting the will of the American people, you should be held accountable. It's not that hard. Like one of my friends, I consider her to be a friend of mine, that got deported. I didn't want to see her get deported. I think it's terrible that she got deported. But look, the law is the law. You had 20 years to figure this out. I don't know what to tell you. How can I help? But you still got to the law is still the law. Only thing I do for you is help you within the law. I can help you try to find a lawyer for your deportation hearing. I can't stop you from getting deported if you had deportation orders from 20 years ago. You actually should have said something to me all these years. Maybe I could have got you somebody before they came and got you. I'm not trying to be mean. She had a kid. She had a great business. I love Kawaii Sushi. Kawaii Sushi is the best sushi in Phoenix. And ask me. Only reason I don't go out as often as I normally do because it's far. But if you live in Peoria, you live in Happy Valley, Kawaii Sushi. They used to have a road called the Smokey Robinson. They used to set it on fire. And it was the best roll in America. And then they changed it to like the USA roll or something like that. She was good. She was a patriot. She loved Trump. I mean, but hey, bro, what does the law say? The law says you can't do this. I'm not going to be a hypocrite for anybody. That's like me going out and getting a DUI. I'm going to get mad at somebody? No, I was drunk and I drove. Don't give me a pass, bro. You know, if somebody were to do that, yeah, you would like a pass, but don't give me a pass, bro. I did it. Like when I got caught speeding, I was flying. I literally pulled myself over. I was flying, man. I was going 190 something in that big old red truck. I'm flying, going to Vegas. I see him. Oh, I'm got. Let me not make him madder. I said, I pulled over. Cop didn't even have to enter the freeway. He just came up the service road right there. I say, look, man, you got me. I should have got arrested. He didn't. Because when you go X amount over the speed limit, you get it's a criminal speeding. He was apologizing to me. He had a body camera on. Y'all can probably go find the footage. He had a body camera on. He said, I'm sorry, man, but you know, I'm like, look, man, you're doing your job, brother. I knew what I was doing when I pushed the gas. I'm looking at that speedometer go over 80. Hey, I'm got. Whatever it is that you want to do in my favor, I'll take it. He gave me that ticket, and I paid that ticket, and I ain't mad at him. I said, thank you for your service, sir. You have a good day. And I went the speed limit the rest of the way to No, I didn't. I didn't go that fast the rest of the way to Vegas. I was cautious because I couldn't get 2 tickets in a row.